This program also serves as the political education class for the Black Panther movement. This program, this class, this education, and I'm going to talk about education, but this education, this class has a point of departure that is Pan-African. Pan-African meaning that our world view, our world look, how we see the world, how we look at the world is based on where we are from, not where we were born. And we can't use where we are born as the foundation of our thought, because where we were born, if we was born in the United States of America, their policies, their image of us, their treatment of us is counter and beneath the humanity that God has given us. So we got to look at ourselves from an African perspective, because we feel full-blown humans. And we resist being treated less than what our humanity calls for. Unbought, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt naked truth. I want to develop this message around the third principle of the seven point Black Power platform of the Black Panther movement. And I want to deal with that education or that environment and deal with a couple of subjects. One being deception. Deception. And the other topic, and I'll get into deception because there's a lot of deceiving going on here. And in fact, I think you deceive yourself if you define yourself by where you were born here in the United States of America, and not from defining yourself from where you are from the African continent. If you're not defining yourself from the African continent, then you're deceiving yourself. I want to talk about deception of self and how others are trying to deceive us. Plus, I want to talk about the June 10th event that I went through that was organized by a good sister, Eunice Trotter, over at the Indiana Historical Society, and the panel that she put together to put out some information, which I don't think was from a Pan-Africanist perspective, but it could have been somewhat. There's something that a Pan-African could get from it, and I want to talk about that, analyze that, and see how we can come up with an understanding on how to go forward. When you talk about the fourth principle of the seven principles of the Black Panther, Black Power platform, the fourth principle is education. It says we, black people, African people, the original people, must know thyself, and we must learn the lessons of history. The Black Panther movement believes our people must be completely re-educated, because we're deceiving ourselves. We're going into deception, and I'll define deception a little bit later. And we shall unlearn all the lies that the white man has taught us. We must learn and master all subjects critical to nation building and establishing a nation of our own. Our nation that has to be established is the control of the African continent. That's our nation. And it needs to become one. You don't need a whole bunch of little countries. Those countries need to become states, and we need to have a government for the United States of Africa, so that all of this is one. So that when you touch somebody in Algeria, you done touch somebody in South Africa, or when you done touch somebody in Egypt, you done touch somebody in Niger. It's got to become one. We've got to become a one mind, because dealing with this deception and deceiving ourselves is causing us to live less than what our humanity calls for. Well, we from the richest land in the world, indeed, the world today, and because of our thinking, we the poorest people. That don't make no sense. That thinking has got to be changed, and so we have to be re-educated. We must learn and master all subjects critical to nation building and building a nation of our own. And again, our nation is the African continent. We shall be educated in business and how to do for self, conduct trade and manufacturing. We shall be educated in the sciences of technology, construction, and engineering, modern medicine, and military warfare. You can't forget the security. We got to be able to defend ourselves so that we can be ourselves and determine the direction that we go into as a people. We must be educated in the science of mating. How do we produce children? What is natural? How do we sustain ourselves? If we don't have a relationship that produces children, then ultimately we're causing our demise, because we're not producing people to replace the people that will die. And you're going to die. And there's going to be a replacement. And our job as Africans is to make sure that we mate in a way that we replace ourselves so that we live forever. So when that relationship, you got to learn about marriage, motherhood, and fatherhood, and raising a family. We must learn how to eat to live. Not eat for desire, but we eat to live. What does that mean? If you eat to live, that means that you eat because you understand that your body needs food, and from that food it gathers nourishment and it sustains the body. You don't eat just because you're a body and you can eat and overeat and become obese. No, you eating for pleasure. And that doesn't mean that eating shouldn't be a pleasurable experience, but if you're talking about how to sustain yourself, you're talking about eating in a way that is good for your body. You ain't putting that pork, that pig, that hog in your body now. And I know some of you over there sucking on the pork chop right now. Take that thing out of your mouth. It's bad for you. The pig has a digestive system that is inadequate for its size, and so all of the poison that the pig produces in his body, its digestive system cannot get rid of it, and so the Creator, knowing that the pig's body was inadequate or bigger than the digestive system that they gave, and they put a hole in the hoof the Creator put a hole in the hoof of the pig so that excess poison can be eliminated from his body. The next time you get a chance to see a hog, or go get you a pig feet, don't eat it. Don't you eat that pig's foot, but go and look at it and examine it. And in between the hoofs, you'll see a little hole. And it's even better if you go to a farm and see a live pig. You can see the pus, the poison coming out of that pig, just because that pig's body produces more poison than the digestive system can get rid of. So we live to eat, and we must learn to live to eat. The Black Panther movement shall organize strongly on the college campus. And not only that, we need to meet people in the street too, in the church, where we in the home, and then specifically on the college campus is a target because that's where our intelligentsia is. And we got to have that intelligentsia working on our behalf, not going to work for on behalf of the people where you was born, but work on the behalf of the people of where you're from, because if you make the country, United States, stronger because of your intelligence, because of your skills, then what it does is uses that power that is gaining from your skills, it uses it to oppress us more, to be more efficient in our oppression. That don't make no sense. That's the reason why we can't think in a way that our citizenship would define us to thinking, because that thinking is counterproductive for our existence. We got to think like an African from Africa thinks, who is pro-Africa, who is a Pan-Africanist, who understands that if you're a Pan-Africanist, then a Pan-African, then the resources that are located on the African continent should be used for the benefit of Africans no matter where we are in the world. And there's plenty. The continent is rich. It's got gold and diamonds, manganese, all of that, steel, copper, all of that, right there. But right now, because we thinking like we, from where we were born, that where we was born is defining our chain of thought, those resources are being used and benefiting the very people that are oppressing us right here in the United States. And if you work for them, then you're helping the system to do it. Quit it! That's not good thinking. And we're battling for your mind. You came over here, and some of you will say, I ain't lost nothing in Africa. You lost your mind. Because you don't understand that you're from Africa. And you don't promote being from Africa. You don't work to develop Africa. So if you are not doing that, Pan-Africanist thought, if you're not doing that, then you done lost your mind. And this event that I went through for Juneteenth, that point was made. And I'm going to get into it. And again, the Black Panther movement shall organize strongly in the mode of Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, and the likes of attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, the student warrior and disciple of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, while he was both at Howard University, while he attended, and he hasn't stopped. Brother is organizing around the world. And we are implementing his vision along with input from ourselves. But he is right here. And the job is to implement the vision. That's what I do as the director of Pan-African Affairs. The affairs of the Black Panther movement, it is my job, it is my task to move that from rhetoric to reality. And I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm coordinating a trip to the African continent, and I said, boy, I left my phone at the house. Okay, if it rings, I'll have to recall them back. But you got to understand that we ain't just talking, we walking. We got a delegation on the ground in Burkina Faso as I speak. And I'll say more about that when I get over there and we start moving. But we got boots on the ground on the African continent as I speak. I want to share this experience that I had at the Indiana Historical Society, because there were some interesting topics that went on. Professor at PUI, Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. A professor over there, Brother Kasana, he spoke about how we are from the African continent, and our elders understood that we were from the African continent because when they named the institutions that they attended, they called it African, the African Methodist Church, the African home for the Masons. I forget the name that he said. But the point being made is he was saying just by us, the elders, those that came before us, they understood that we was from the African continent, even though that we was here in America, because they named their institutions after Africa. And he said that they understood that, and they didn't understand or do understand, and we have lost the understanding that our definition is from this piece of land that is now called Africa, and over here, ever since we've been over here and was stolen from the African continent, then we were living an unnatural life. He said it was unnatural from the culture that they took us from and subjected us to over here in America. And it was unnatural because they had us enslaved. They treated us like we were less than human. They appreciated their dog more than they appreciated us. And the brother Kasana is making the point that that theft of us from the African continent is causing us to act unnaturally, be treated unnaturally, because we were stolen and brought to America. This is the reason why we can't use that to define ourselves, to name ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. That is counterproductive to our very existence. Why would you want to think about as a slave, think like as a slave, because that's what the American citizenship, that's what we had to go through to get on paper to be looked at as American citizens. And you know as well as I know that the way that we are treated, we're not American citizens. I for the life of me can't fathom why we keep on trying to be Americans the way that America treats us, continually treats us. Every day on the news or online, you can see where they done beat one of us in the head, shot us till we was dead, and even shot us when we was on the move to fled, to get away. Just shoot us down. You saw that's what happened with Ryan Hinton in Cincinnati. Police just shot him down. And his father, which is showing us something now, is telling us something, said that he loved that boy. That was his son. And he valued his son. And his son's life had value to where it's that you took it. Then you had to pay with a life, at least. And all of us, those of us that are Pan-Africans, think like that. Even those of us that are not Pan-African understand that we ain't got no business allowing somebody to take the life of our child, and there's not an adequate response. And if it takes taking a life to tell you that you can't take our life, then so be it. Yeah, we thinking like that. And more of us got to think like that. And we got to organize so that we can exercise that type of thinking, and there's not any repercussions from this people this country that they call America, the United States of America, that says that we have citizenship, but shoot us down in the street and get away with it. To murder a black man, and then that's the same thing that happened to us in slavery, and that's the reason why Lasana is saying that we are living unnaturally, and we have been living unnaturally ever since we were stolen from the African continent. It's time for us to start being natural again. But to keep us comfortable with this unnatural existence that we have, they deceive us. They make us think that there's nothing else that we can do. There's no other life. They think that they make us think, deceiving us now, that we have to put up with this because we ain't got nowhere to go. Let me define deception for you. What is deception? Deception is people using a lie and making you think it's true. And we've been deceived. They've been lying to us. Oh, you're a citizen. You're part of America. And all the time shooting us down. No, we're not a part of America. We in America. We ain't a part of it. And in our right mind, we don't want to be a part of America. Why would you want to be a part of America with the way that America is acting in the world? They just bombed Iran, and I'm going to get into that. But that's part of the deception. He's making you think that he done went over here and bombed Iran because he don't want them to have nuclear weapons. I done said, I'm dumb. I'm the one who done said who can have a nuclear weapon and who can't. And Iran, you can't have one, and it looks like you trying to get one, so I'll come over here and bomb your stuff. Buck duck! No, we don't support that. We don't want to be a part of that. And why don't he want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Because he knows if Iran has a nuclear weapon, then those policies that they are implementing around the world will stop. Because Iran says, nah, man, you can't do this over here. And they might say that you can't do that over there. Because, look, we'll take you out. We got a nuclear weapon. And so Doug went over here and bombed Iran under those auspices, even though his intelligence community, what's her name, Tulsi Gabbard, told him that his intelligence community, and you know the intelligence community, sometimes they don't act too intelligent, but their job is to tell him what's going on in the world, how things happening in the world, and the position that they see happening in the world, so that he can come up with the policy. And that community told him that they saw no evidence of Iran moving to weaponize or to make a weapon, a nuclear weapon. They said they saw no evidence of. Trump said, you lying. Duck, you lying. I don't believe the intelligence community, because he wanted to go over there and kill some people. He wanted, I'm Duck. I'm the most powerful man in the world. Can't nobody do what America's army can do. I'm Duck, and I'm in control of that army. But Duck! So he went over there and dropped bombs on Iran's so-called nuclear facilities, and in the process killed up a bunch of people. And all of that too was trying to make Israel, what they call in Israel now, those Zionists, that's occupied Palestine, that was Palestinian land, and those thieves went there and took it, just like America came over to Africa and stole us. Zionists, I was going to call them something else, but let me use that word. Those Zionists went to Palestine and stole some land, and now they killing people trying to keep it, and Iran was trying to help people to get their land back, and Duck wanted to help Netanyahu and Boo-Boo and them to keep that land, and so Netanyahu was imploring Duck to bomb Iran, and so Duck, who had been resistant, eventually did, under the auspices that he was doing it because he didn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, when his intelligence community said that they ain't trying to get a nuclear weapon. Iran told him, we ain't trying to get a nuclear weapon. He didn't care. He wanted to be seen as being the big boy on the block. So he went over there and bombed the people. Nah, we don't want to be a part of that. You done stole the land that we're on. You done stole us, and now you're killing people over in Iran, and you're killing people in Ethiopia and Somalia too. All that's going to come into play. And you was killing people in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, but they stopped it. And we're saying that we're going to stop it worldwide, and we're going to stop it by getting in control of the African continent. And we're going to quit letting you deceive us, making us think that you're doing what's right, when all the time you're doing what's wrong. We're going to quit going for that deception. We're not going to let you continue to lay that art out there, and deception is an art. And it is the art of telling a lie and making you think it's true. No, we're not going to go for that. We're going to stop that. And we're going to stop that because we are African people, and We are thinking from a Pan-African a Pan-African perspective. We're not trying to define ourselves where we was born. We're defining ourselves from where we're from. And we're going to quit deceiving ourselves. At that forum, there was a preacher. And that's what I want to say about what Kasala said. But there was a preacher, the preacher over at Witherspoon, whose name is evading me right now. I'm 76 and I don't remember everything. And all of this is coming from my heart. I've studied, but this is coming from my heart, and I don't have any notes. But the preacher, the pastor, and I hear good things about him, from Witherspoon Church. He said that his studies teaches him that African people, us, have a center. We have a internal mechanism that makes us want to do right. Our proclivity is to do right. Now you can't say that about them Europeans, because they've been doing wrong all the way through the picture. They thieves. They came over here and stole this land, stole us, enslaved us, and now trying to deceive us to make us think that we can't do no better than that. But that we can. And the preacher was making a point, and I agree with it. And that's what I'm appealing to. That mechanism, shall I call it a conscience? But that mechanism that's internal to us that says that we want to do right. Our proclivity is to do right. But we have been deceived so long that we're becoming a part of that deception, and we do wrong and then try to make people think it's right. Stop that. And because we have a conscience, because we have a mechanism that pushes us toward the reason, the point, the opportunity to do right, then we understand that it's not right for people to come steal land, come to Africa, steal people, then to go over into Iran and other places and bomb them because you want to be the big boy on the block. You don't want nobody to have the capability to beat you. You don't want to act like you human and act like everybody else that's human. And so you build big weapons and you go and drop bombs on people. Who wants to be a part of that? I don't want to do that. And now you drop bombs on people and say, look, yeah, I got a bomb, and yeah, I know the technology out there is available for you to get a bomb, but you can't have a bomb. If you have a bomb, then I'm gonna come over here and drop bombs on you. If you try to get a bomb, I'm gonna come over here and drop bombs on you. And that's what ODUP did. We don't want to be a part of that. Our conscience says, no, we shouldn't be a part of that. And that's the reason why we've got to move from here, where we were born, and go back home. Now, sister, I'm still with this forum on for Juneteenth. Sister, and this sister I know well, her name is evading me right now, but that's what's happening. But what she was talking about the financial angle. And she was saying that there's a way, even up under this oppression that we're in America, to where it's that we can organize our money so that we don't have to be as poor as we're going to be. But she made a point going at the beginning of it. She says that the average salary for black people, a black family in America, is $40,000. But if you compare that with white folks, theirs is $300,000 a year. Well, why are we trying to manage a pittance, trying to be and survive in America the way they treat us? Why would we do that? And so the point is, we can do better than that. If we go to the African continent and take that education that a lot of us have, and take it to the African continent and start developing the African continent, then we can live at the level that the riches in the soul of Africa dictate that we can live. And I'm telling you, that's grand. That ain't living in no apartment where you ain't got no space to move around with 4 children. No! We can do better than that. And then I asked the sister, how is it, and you agree, and all of them agree, that we're from the richest land in the world today, but over here in America, and on the continent too, we live like we're the poorest thing that ever got on the face of the earth. It's because we don't control the land. The struggle is for the land. And so, the last sister, her point was that we are afraid as a people, that we've been deceived so much to say that this is the way you're supposed to live. And you know this ain't the way we're supposed to live. But we have bought that deception so deep that we're afraid to ask for help. Well, guess what? I'm your help. That's what I'm telling you. I'm saying you better than that. Buck Doug! Buck America! We ain't got to live like that. We can live better than that. And that is the message. We can live better than that. We're better than that. So right now, like I was saying earlier, I might have to answer that phone, but I ain't going to answer it because I ain't got it with me. And I'm going to go on and do this because I got to talk to you. I got to walk with you. I'm battling for your thinking. What's going on in your mind? I'm telling you that you got to become Pan-Africanist in thought, because now with being Pan-Africanist in thought, you'll be thinking about how can we control the African continent. What can we do to control the African continent? I'm ready to do what's necessary to be done to control the African continent. And I can control the African continent because the minerals under the soil of the African continent are vast, and they mine, and they should be used to my benefit. And I'm tired of these white folks coming over here stealing my stuff. I'ma stop it. And once we get to thinking like that, and there's a bunch of us thinking like that, but we need more. We need you. And I'm battling for your mind. And we right now got people over on the African continent talking with brothers and sisters on the African continent that done took some land that got gold, diamonds, manganese, and everything else, who are saying that that land and those resources are our land and our resources because they are Pan-Africanists. They're Pan-Africans. They understand that just because we were stolen from the African continent, we still part of the family. They understand that. And they saying, blood, come on home, man. You don't have to put up with that Scheiße. For those who speak German, for those who don't, when when I say shizer, I'm talking about a word that rhymes with itch. Just got a B in front. No. No. It just got an S in front of it. And that's it. I'm talking about a word. Look at me. Walk with me. I'm talking about a word that rhymes with it. You don't have to put up with that. It. And you know what I'm talking about. We don't have to put up with that. I'm unbound, unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. And when we come back, we're going to share with you what we found out, what we done put together. And Dennis, I know, and I'm talking to Dennis Ross. I'm talking to you. I see your sincerity, and I see your mindset, and I see that you're thinking about what's being said, and you're contemplating, and you're thinking about, well, if I could do it, I can't just get up and do it. No, we ain't gonna ask you to do it like that. We're gonna be more organized. We're gonna have a contingency. Go over there and lay the groundwork. So when you come over there, we're ready for you. You ready? But I hear you. And we're going to make it happen. So we got a contingency over here on the African continent right now as we speak. And we're going to be talking to people on how we can cooperate and organize and mobilize. See, because, you know, when you look at the African continent, yeah, it's very rich with resources, but the educational expertise is limited. There's some there, but it's limited to be able to exploit the resources for our benefit, because the knowledge to do it is not there in abundance. That knowledge to do it is here in America, because the African in America is the most educated American, not American, the most educated African in the world. Nobody, no African. I don't care if you're in Europe, Russia, Australia, I don't care what, China, I don't care where you are. The most educated African in the world is right here in the United States of America. So if we take that expertise over to the African continent and exploit it for our benefit, Lord, our quality of life would be something that most of us can't even imagine. I'm telling y'all, I'm unbossed, and unafraid of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the butt-naked truth. We're organizing, and we're mobilizing. If you're ready to organize, call us and leave your contact information. You can do that at 844-848-6489. I said, if you ready, if you tired of being tired, aren't you tired of being tired? If you tired of being tired, make the call. Sick and tired of being tired, make the call. And the call is 844-848-6489. We ready. We tired of this doo-doo. You know that word that rhymes with it? We tired of that. It's time for it to stop, and we can stop it. Our problem is organized. Them white folks is organized. An organized problem has an organized solution. In fact, you cannot solve an organized problem if you're not organized or in an unorganized fashion. We've got to make it happen, and we're going to make it happen. You've been listening to the Elder. Unbound, Unbossed and Unafraid. Catches every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on the Black Panther Movement YouTube page, and we're also on Facebook. Black Pie.